Hi, and welcome back to the Study Unifi's Daily Vid series. Today's video is about tenses. As you know, there are several tenses, but a few that we never use or rarely use. Today we'll be talking about the future perfect and the future perfect continuous tense. These are two tenses that are often either not used at all by most native and non-native speakers or used incorrectly. First, let's look at the future perfect. The future perfect basically is an action that will be completed at a particular time in the future before another point in time in the future. It is kind of like a prediction that you will complete a particular action at a particular time in the future. This is a tense that has, let's say, a deadline. So when we say, I will have graduated by the end of 2024, the action graduated will be completed before this particular time given in the sentence, the end of 2024. If you say, I will graduate, then that would grammatically be an error. The meaning would change also because will is an intention. Now, let's look at some more examples of this particular tense. First, let's understand the grammatical structure of this tense. It takes will have and V3, the past participle. The first example, by tomorrow we will have finished painting the entire house, predicts that at this particular time in the future, tomorrow, an action, painting the house, will be completed. The next example, I will have learned 5 programming languages by the end of the year. This sentence predicts that this action learnt in the context of programming languages will be completed by this particular time in the future, the end of the year. The third example, I will have saved enough money to buy a new car by the end of the year. This sentence predicts that this action saved enough money will be completed by this particular time in the future, that is, the end of the year. So that is how you use future perfect. Remember, it's one action that must be completed at a particular time in the future. The next tense we're going to talk about in today's video is the future perfect continuous tense. Now, first, let's understand how this tense is used. We use this tense to project ourselves in the future and then state what duration a particular action that we are doing now will complete in the future. So, it's an action we are doing now, but we are predicting what duration this action will complete in the future. Now, let's look at the sample sentence. By next month, he will have been living in New York City for a decade. So this action, living in New York City, will complete this duration, a decade, that's 10 years, at this particular time in the future, that is next month. Now let's look at some more examples of how this tense is used, and also let's look at its grammatical structure. Firstly, the grammatical structure of this tense is will have been plus the ing verb. Let's read the first example. By the time you arrive, we will have been waiting for an hour. This sentence means that this action, waiting, will complete 1 hour at this particular time in the future by the time you arrive. So a duration of 1 hour will be completed at a particular time in the future. The next example, they will have been studying French for 5 years by the time they moved to Paris. This action, studying, will complete this duration, 5 years, at this particular time in the future when they move to Paris. The final example, let's read it together. By next summer, we will have been living in this house for a decade. This action, living in this house, will complete this duration, 10 years or a decade, at this particular time in the future, next summer. So, future perfect tense is used to denote a particular duration that will be completed at a particular time in the future. Thanks for watching this video. We'll be back soon with the next video in the Study in a Phase Daily With series. To know more about improving your English or for English proficiency exam tests or anything related to study abroad, contact Uniphase at www.studyuniphase.io. Till then, all the best.